All right. Captain America Civil War.
So I'm going to let you start because you just read the Civil War comic. And I have read it. I've
seen the movie before I read the comic.
Yes. I was the opposite.
I would have read this in middle school when he did.
Yeah.
But my librarian cut me off from reading comic books in middle school. So instead of reading Civil War, I read Age of Ultron. So I knew what that one was going into it. Civil War. I still love it because I view them as two very different things. But however, because for years since we've been friends, you've always been had this weird
animosity towards this movie.
This movie.
Yeah.
And I've always been like, what the fuck is your problem? What's the deal?
Yeah. And I was like, bro, I've read the comic.
And now I get, if you're coming off of the comic, knowing everything that happens in that book, and then coming into this movie that is so dumbed down, I get it.
Yep.
I still don't disagree. I still don't agree with it, though.
Not only the comic, but also, you ever played Marvel Ultimate Alliance?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, that shit does it well, too. So, again, maybe it's not fair. Maybe I'm comparing apples to oranges. I
really do think you... Because, I mean, they would have made it the traditional Civil War if they had the rights to the Fantastic Four and the... Because the Fantastic Four... Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man are two very key players in the story.
Absolutely.
Without them, you don't have the book at all.
Mr. Fantastic is a huge player.
Yeah.
Spider-Man turns the tide of the whole thing.
Yeah, Spider-Man is a big deal in the book.
Turns the tide of the whole thing.
I mean, Daredevil is too. Daredevil was supposed to be in this movie.
Yeah.
But that was when the whole Netflix stuff was still going on.
Yeah.
And they were doing the weird...
Again, this is kind of an example of Marvel being handcuffed.
They couldn't do a whole... It's the same thing with Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
If they had the rights to everybody, they would have done Age of Ultron correctly.
Yeah, with Hank.
With Hank Pym and Wolverine and everybody.
One non-comic complaint I do have about this movie, and I brought this up to you, and this is kind of funny. I've thought of this for years. The scene when they're in the conference room, and Thunderbolt Ross is giving them the presentation on this is why we need the Sokovia Accords, because blah, 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 right? He shows them the scene from the Avengers. Hey, buddy, the government sent a nuke to New York City and Iron Man threw it in space. That doesn't count. Number two, S.H.I.E.L.D. got overtaken by Hydra and the whole government was going to be corrupted. And Captain America, on his own, saved the whole world. So that doesn't count either. Number three, Ultron. Okay, that one's their fault. And then number four, they show the scene in the beginning of Civil War where Wanda accidentally blows up that part of the building. Well, yeah, oopsie, right? But at the same time... Whoops! At the same time...
Imagine if that's what Screwball said after he fucking...
Oh, God. But at the same time, if they weren't there... the casualties would have been way higher.
Yeah.
So
you know what else to say with your Avengers 1 argument? The Avengers were called in to fix the fuck up that S.H.I.E.L.D. made.
Yeah, because they lost the Tesseract.
Yeah.
So three out of his 4 points make zero fucking sense.
Yeah.
If they would have hammered the Ultron thing, I'd have been like, okay, you got me. You got me. And the scene with the lady meeting Tony by the elevator, like, you killed my son, bro. That shit hit.
Yeah.
That shit hit.
Yeah.
But okay, this movie's got really, really high highs, but
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna say pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Pretty good. Yeah,
solid. It's a good movie.
Before you read that comic, you would have put that in.
I probably would have. Honestly, I probably would
because it knocks it down a half a point to a point. It really does. It knocks it
Some
down.
parts of it do because there's a lot of Bill Foster is a big thing in the comics, and he's not introduced till Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There are so many different levels as again, it's apples to oranges. It
is.
It's just I like this movie because I view it as Avengers 2.5.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
And I also just see it as introduction to Black Panther, and we get the first time we get Spider-Man in a movie. Yeah. Doctor Strange. I love this movie. This has always been one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. It's weird. I don't have a lot of big complaints about this movie, but I also don't have a lot of big wins for this movie. Civil War, this movie is much more in the middle of Civil War. Civil War has really great, bad. I think Doctor Strange kind of in that middle ground where none of it is as high as Civil War, but none of it is bad enough.
Here's my thing with Civil War is that I like it because it's its own thing. It's not MCU. It's not very MCU to the point where Ant-Man is talking about Tony Stark and they're breaking into
Talking
the
about
Avengers.
Doctor Strange?
Yes, but I'm saying like Doctor Strange isn't breaking into the Avengers compound like in Ant-Man, right?
Yeah.
You know, or it's just Doctor Strange being separate from the rest of the MCU because that's how it is in the comics.
Yeah.
And that's how he always has been. I do think the villain is very forgettable. It suffers greatly from that.
Yeah. Dormammu. I do like the scene
Dormammu's great.
Yeah, Dormammu was good at the end. And it was a very unique conclusion. It wasn't
and
just
I do like that they've been building up this Dormammu threat to be Doctor Strange's Thanos.
Yeah.
So to say.
Yeah.
Like it's I like that.
I do like how also the way he defeats Dormammu is not like a CGI magic fight. It's
just him using his wits. He's using his wits because he knows he can't beat him directly, so he has to.
He literally annoys the fuck out of him.
That's how he gets him to concede. Like
it's so funny.
Like, listen, bro, I can literally do this forever.
I can do this all day. That's the wrong Marvel character.
We are stuck in a literal time loop.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
balls in your court.
Yeah.
All right.
We can keep doing this for all of eternity, or you can just fuck off. Like it's
like fuck.
He's like, bro, I'm gonna put it in great comic book movie because it's just a solid comic book movie.
I'll throw you pretty good, but I'll give you great. I mean,
because it's just its own thing.
We're not going to be that nice about the next Doctor Strange movie, so
facts. So
yeah, no. Okay, next we have Guardians Volume 2. So the question of these Guardians movies is not what tier to put them in; it's what order to arrange them between the three.
I mean, we're not doing that.
No, but I'm saying in general. Like, it's not like what tier are these movies? It's like, oh yeah, what part?
I
of the
love
tier
Guardians 2 personally the best out of the three because it's got like a very deep meaning to me.
Yeah,
personally.
Yeah.
So I love this movie, and I also just love the soundtrack of this movie. This one has the best soundtrack in my opinion.
Yeah. Might have the best villain as well.
Best villain.
Ego is really
just
really
because
strong,
of how deep it is.
Yeah.
You know?
The scene when they're like, I'm sorry I had to put that tumor in her brain. And then, dude, and you get like the zoom in on Star-Lord. Literal fucking chills. Literally chills.
And then when he starts shooting him, you're like, fucking get down! Like, fuck you! Yeah, like, come on. Come on. It's just, I love this movie so much.
Yeah.
It's got a very deep personal meaning to me personally. So, like, if I was to put them in order, it'd be probably 2, 1, 3. But they're all great.
But even calling 3 the third best, it's like, 3's like also.
They're like here.
It's
like it's right here. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. So,
okay.
Anyway,
this is one. Where are you putting Spider-Man Homecoming? Because we're going to have different opinions.
Pretty good.
Putting great. It's better than Ant-Man.
If it didn't have all of the fucking Iron Man shit in it.
Okay. The Iron Boy Jr. stuff is annoying.
Yes.
Straight up.
And they spend so much time in these movies focusing on it. This one is the least, I guess.
They do let him be Peter, though. Like, at the end, when he gets his suit taken away and he has to just resolve to his wits and his own ability.
Yes, and I love that.
That's let him be Spider-Man.
That's absolutely great, and that's like the redeeming quality of this movie. And I would put it in a great comic book movie if that had happened halfway through the film.
This also is the best high school
Spider-Man film. Yeah.
Spider-Man film.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton is a good Vulture. Mm-hmm. I understand he's teaming up with Morbius now, so let's go. Let's freaking go. Still haven't seen Morbius. Thank the good Lord. But no, this
also
movie.
Fuck Jared Leto for ruining Tron. Also, my all-time favorite fucking movie of all time. You know,
and Joker.
Go ahead and go fuck yourself, buddy.
This is a great comic book movie. John Watts' style in this movie, like but let's go.
John Watts is like the whole thing falls apart in the second one. Even
Far From Home,
Spider-Man 4. Tom Holland Spider-Man needs a different director, like desperately.
Oh, it's getting when John Watts not going back.
I know, thank God.
Yeah, I agree that it got old. In this movie, though, it's really good.
Yes,
in this movie, it's really good. Zendaya is good. I don't like the whole MJ not Mary Jane shit. That always
come on, like just for real,
just say Mary Jane.
Just say it's Mary Jane.
I know
you can race swap Mary Jane. It's not that big of a deal.
Nobody cares.
When you say MJ, that's who we think the character is. So come on. I'm gonna say pretty good.
Put it in great. Negotiate with me a little bit. I gave you Ant-Man and Doctor Strange.
I gave you the rest of these.
Give me Spider-Man. I can go on an hour tangent why I think this movie is really good. It is really good.
And I can go on an hour tangent why I think it's lackluster. This is not nearly as bad as Far From Home, though.
Oh, God, we're going to fucking go to blows on that one. Anyways, Thor Ragnarok. Where are we at here? We're at, Thor Ragnarok.
I'm going to say great.
Yeah.
Comic book movie.
I agree with that. It's great.
It's a solid movie. I do think that they wasted World War Hulk. World War Hulk deserved its own movie.
Yeah.
In and of itself.
It's not quite that peak Marvel, that top tier, but it's close.
If you want, like, I don't know. That's the only thing that, like, a lot of people really don't like about this movie is that they 100% wasted one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. Fucking Planet Hulk and World War Hulk are two of the greatest Hulk stories in general, but just also Marvel stories.
This movie did really well, this is the perfect balance of Thor's comedy. This is the perfect blend of Taika Waititi style in an MCU movie. Mm-hmm. They completely fall on their ass apart, in the next movie. Yeah. But in the next Thor movie, in this movie, it works. It's balanced out. Mm-hmm. It's perfectly entertaining.
Because Taika pulls in a lot of deep moments that really hit.
Yes.
And then he also pulls in a lot of moments that are just really funny and they're lighthearted and
when
whatever.
He's in like in the room and he hits the dodgeball and it's like that's just funny. Mm-hmm. You know, like also, hey, he's a friend from work.
Yeah, like great.
Yeah.
And that actually was a little behind the scenes there. Chris Hemsworth said that was actually given to him by a Make-A-Wish kid that was visiting the set.
Super cool.
Some kid was like, you should say he's a friend from work, and he put it in the film and they kept it in.
Super cool. Super wholesome.
Solid.
100 points for wholesome. Yeah. Great movie.
And the Hulk and Thor fight is actually really good. Like it's solid.
Yeah. I also love how this movie ends 5 minutes before Infinity War begins. Or like
right.
Ends.
This one was the one where we're like, oh shit, that's Infinity War. Like, oh fuck, you know?
Mm-hmm. Really, really good. Really, really good movie. I like that movie a lot. Next, we got Black Panther.
I'm gonna go ahead and say peak here.
Yeah, it's peak. It's peak.
Black Panther is this fucking amazing.
Killmonger, there needs no other introduction. It's just he's that guy.
Killmonger, M'Baku, T'Challa, T'Chaka,
Shuri's good.
Everyone.
Angela
Just this whole movie.
Yeah, this whole movie is really, really good. The soundtrack.
And even the part where like I like this movie because T'Challa is. Thanks for copyrighting the video, buddy.
I don't think I hit the note like SZA did, so I think we're fine. The algorithm will pick it up.
I think that this movie is great because T'Challa is so comfortable being the Black Panther and it's this whole whatever, but then something from it's like the sins of my father type thing, the sins of the father.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because his dad did that way back when, now he created an enemy that's going to kill everything and destroy everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's great.
Also, this is a random note. Maybe you agree. I feel like this is the most like, if you're watching like FX or whatever, or if you're like at a restaurant, this is the Marvel movie that gets played the most. Like I have seen this movie on screen at a restaurant or like a gym like 100 times. It feels like. Just the other day, I was at the gym. Saw this movie on one of the screens. I was like, oh my gosh. Soundtrack amazing. Really, really good story. Ryan Coogler, You Are a Dog. This movie is very well directed.
Right. Yeah. This kickstarted Ryan Coogler's career, and it also started the relationship that gave us Creed 3.
Yeah.
Which is fucking peak movie.
Peak. Not a lot of bad things to say about this movie.
Yeah. Honestly, just Creed in general. Actually,
one negative note. I don't like how they spend like 15 minutes trying to convince us that T'Challa died. Like the movie's like, no, he's dead. He's really dead. We're like, yeah, okay, right, yeah, he's not dead.
Yeah. How long is the rest of this movie?
Yeah,
okay,
right.
For sure.
We're good. Like they kind of like milk that a little too much, but that's a very minor complaint. Next, we have.
Now it would have been hard if they would have gave us Shuri Panther in this one. Like she's the one that stops Killmonger, and then T'Challa pops in and like fucking Infinity War, like at the end.
That would have been insane.
Bro, could you imagine?
He Bombay, and you're like, what? That'd be pretty nuts.
Okay.
Next, we have Avengers: Infinity War. I don't know if you've ever heard of this movie. Maybe I don't think you've seen. I don't know if I've seen it or not. Only 500 fucking times. Avengers: Infinity War.
I saw this movie on vacation, and this movie actually gave me a literal anxiety attack because I was like, oh my god, all my superheroes just fucking died.
Dude, that was the best part, to see this movie with like MCU diehards. They'd be like, wait, did Spider-Man just die?
And I'm like, I knew Endgame was coming and all that, but I was like, what the fuck just like what just happened?
You're literally leaving the theater like,
no, like dead. Like I remember I was like genuinely speechless. My parents were like, "Did you like it?" And I was like,
"Stop talking, stop."
Like, you know, like the Homelander meme where like his ears are ringing in the theater. That's me. Like I'm just.
Well, and then what this movie did, and this is the definition of like if you were there, you were there. I fucked that up so bad.
If you were there, you were there for sure, bro.
This is the definition of like you just had to be there.
Thank you. There you go.
Like the 6-7 months after this movie came out, we didn't even know what Endgame was going to be called. We just knew it was another.
It was just another Avengers. It was just Avengers 5.
And then we were point, like 4.
Well, actually, and then we were like, it was at first it was Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2.
Yeah. But then we knew they were going to change the name, and then we were also like, how the fuck are they going to defeat Thanos? Because Thanos is just like, oh yeah, you're done.
Infinity War is goated, so obviously we're putting it. A lot of people actually say they like this one more than Endgame, which I can see.
It's
because
a better movie than Endgame.
This movie had the villain win.
Yeah.
And that's like a big deal. Like the villain
retired. Like
the villain won. The villain won so hard that he literally turned to a life of farming.
He was like, bro, I'm good. And you want to talk about comics to movie? That scene in the comic, or that page in the comics of him just kicking it on the ranch, hard as hell.
Well, also in the comics, I mean, again, you want to talk about something that was a way bigger thing in the comics, but in the comics, fucking, like, Thanos doesn't just kill half the universe. He kills the entire universe. He kills everything.
Yeah. To impress a bad bitch. Guys.
Death.
Don't let the emo goth girl get to you, all right? It got to Thanos, bro, and we lost billions of people, all right? All right? Just because she's got a septum ring and some tattoos.
Nah, bro.
Eli, I'm talking to you,
That's
dog.
crazy,
I'm
dude.
talking to you, Eli.
That's crazy.
Don't let him get to you, dude.
If a goth baddie approached me wearing a cloak and was like...
Pale as hell.
Kill the universe, I'd be like, shit, all right.
Listen. We gonna date. You got to find these 5 rocks and then just snap everybody out of existence, and then I'll go on a date with you. A lot of you would fold in that situation. A lot of you would fold.
I think that's a testament to the times, honestly. Like,
talk about stories that transcend time.
Yeah, no,
that's
honestly.
just that works regardless of what time period.
Honestly, that's like a great just synopsis of the movie. Thanos fell for a bad bitch. He fell for an emo bitch. Yeah,
that's exactly what happened.
Okay, so that one is actually a bit. No, it's not. Okay, Ant-Man and the Wasp is after this one.
Oh, ass. That movie fucking sucks.
I'll give you ass.
The end credit scene is cool, but the movie's ass, dude. Villain is terrible. Ghost is so bad.
Bill Foster was cool to see. Egghead was cool to see. Like, hardcore Marvel people was cool. I did like the dynamic of like everyone being super pissed at Scott because he stole their suit.
Yeah.
And went to Germany with Captain America just because Captain America was like...
Which is the most Ant-Man thing to do.
Right. Ever, he didn't tell anybody. He just left. Because even while watching Civil War for the first... while watching Civil War for the first time, I remember being like... What did the rest...
He's just happy to be there.
What did the rest of them think about this?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah. Hank Pym, yeah.
I'll give you ass, though. It's not great.
No, it's really bad.
It's not great.
Yeah.
Endgame. Speaking of not great, Captain Marvel.
Yeah, man, I don't... Yesterday...
There's so many things where this movie could have been good.
Yesterday...
And then in like the half... In like this last half of the movie, it just completely falls apart.
Yesterday, you were being really mean to this movie, and I tried to defend it and think of something good to say about it, and I couldn't find anything. I like was grasping at straws. So yeah, you could throw it an ass. Yeah, you could throw it an ass. It's not crazy. Good. It's so crazy to me that in between Infinity War and Endgame, they had 2 huge misses, and it didn't affect them at all. They just didn't give
because everyone was just like, "Fuck these movies, get to Endgame."
Yeah,
like
when
literally,
is Endgame?
like it didn't matter. I remember being like, "Okay, Ant-Man's coming out, cool," but this one's a prequel to Endgame. This one's before Infinity War. Okay,
yeah,
and then Captain Marvel. Oh, that's way back in the 90s. Okay, who gives a fuck? Yeah. And it's like Endgame. When's Endgame? They're like, okay, finally, like it's coming out. It was
the worst. Just if you want to summarize this movie in one plot point. Nick Fury loses his eye.
It's feminism Top Gun.
Oh, we're done. we're on Twitter right now, actually, dude. No,
it's female Top Gun.
Nick Fury loses his eye to a cat,
and it's not Yeah.
Come on.
Like, really, dude? You're going to set up that... The Russos literally did... that was a layup in Winter Soldier. It was a layup.
Bro lobbed that shit up to LeBron James, and he missed the net.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even hit the rim. It's like, what the fuck are you doing?
That was a layup, and they just he grabbed that shit and threw it over the backboard. Like, it was...
Imagine being the Russo brothers and being like, oh yeah, Captain Marvel. You did what?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
He lost his eye how?
Yeah.
Like, I wonder what the Russo brothers were thinking of how he lost his eye.
They're probably like, we gotta direct every fucking movie. It's like this shit. What are these guys doing?
So yeah, I mean, it's not good.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Endgame, it was all right.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Just the greatest,
just the greatest theatrical
culmination of
ever. Yeah,
comic book films of all time. You know?
Yeah.
I remember Endgame. Endgame is the second greatest theatrical experience for me. I feel like if me and you were closer friends, back then we would have seen it together.
I did not see Endgame with Jacoby. But it's
we also like just met when this movie came out.
Yeah, we were like,
or like just about to meet.
Yeah, we were just starting to become friends.
So we didn't see this movie together, but
I've never needed to change my underwear more than once during a movie, except for this one.
Wow. Okay.
Can I say that on camera? Can I say that on camera? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. For sure, dude. Yeah. You're so lucky we don't have like our age demographic it bottoms out at 17 or 18. Yeah, right. It bottoms out at 18.
Yeah. I like this movie.
I mean, this movie just gave us everything that we've been wanting for years. Finally, after 10 years of Marvel films, Captain America said Avengers Assemble. He picked up Mjolnir.
I had been saying that, and I don't have any witnesses. I had been saying that for fucking years.
Come on.
In Ultron, I was like, man, that's really dumb. He should be able to pick that up. And going back, and you look at that scene, and he's purposely... Peak. Definition of peak.
I actually just saw a really cool theory today on TikTok saying that... I'll cut this really brief. But the reason that he didn't pick up the hammer in Age of Ultron is because he genuinely couldn't. Is that Mjolnir felt that he could probably do it at some point, but in Age of Ultron, when Scarlet Witch affects his mind, his biggest fear is peace, because he feels that peace
would make him basically
he's like nothing without war. Yeah, right. Yeah. So in Infinity War, he loses for the first time because I mean he wasn't around in World War II.
Yeah.
You know, and or anything. So he woke up and whatever, and like every war that he's fought in, he's won.
Yeah.
So he loses in Infinity War for the first time, and through that guilt, he's no longer Captain America. He is just Steve Rogers trying to do the right thing.
I kind of fuck with that.
And when you get to Endgame, it's like he's not fighting in fear of peace. He's fighting for peace.
I also see that, and I also see the one where it's like he purposely didn't lift it up because he didn't want to hurt Thor's
I like
ego.
That one too.
I like that one.
I like that one, but I like this Endgame one that I heard today too. Like the whole thing about I like that one too.
Anyway. As we're wrapping up Phase 3, we've been pretty incident free. I don't imagine that will continue with this one we're about to talk about. Spider-Man: Far From Home.
I have a lot to say about this movie. I know you like this movie a lot, so I'll let you say the good.
The good. Tom Holland.
Tom Holland. Man, what the fuck?
Man, I don't want to talk to you. Sorry.
We have to put that in.
We have to put seven.
We have to put that in.
Yeah, I'm really good copyrighted. Tom Holland is good. Mysterio has a lot of really cool scenes. His motivation is a bit suspect.
Oh, really?
I didn't say anything. The scenes of him like warping Peter's mind, really cool.
Being Mysterio.
Yeah. The whole drones thing, I think, is a really cool modern take.
I do too.
On Mysterio.
I do too.
Jake Gyllenhaal plays him well.
Yes.
I also like. I'm trying to say the things that you're gonna say. I don't necessarily disagree with your points.
He's trying to catch my points. Like
I am. I'm trying to like.
You're forgetting a big one.
I know I am. But it's hard because your point, like the points you make,
I'll go ahead and say
that. You're not wrong, but I think you're too mean. But go ahead and say why.
I got really heated about this yesterday, but since I already got heated about it, I'm not going to get as heated about it today. Right. But cut to 5 seconds, and I'm gonna be yelling about this. Mysterio is great. Truly, he's great.
Yeah.
But why the fuck is he an Iron Man villain? Like, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, what is with the barf thing? Like, really?
Yeah.
Okay, you know, Jake Gyllenhaal plays him great. I love him as Mysterio. Mysterio's scenes are awesome. The drone thing, like you said, is also great. Like, but again, it's through Tony, right? Mm-hmm. So that's like my little stuff, right? So like Mysterio, okay. This movie also feels like one giant episode of Ultimate Spider-Man, the cartoon, which
I like that. I like that.
Isn't my favorite because that show wasn't the best. Wasn't the best.
Yeah.
It's probably the weakest out of all.
Spectacular for life.
Spectacular all the way. Spectacular in 90s.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
The big one though. Why in the holy hell would Spider-Man of all people take a fucking vacation?
Yeah, and it really doesn't make sense that after all these guys had blipped and missed their families and friends for 5 years, they're like, you know what? Let's go on
Iron
vacation.
Man is dead. Captain America's retired.
Old as hell.
Thor is gone.
Yeah.
Black Widow's dead.
Yep.
The Hulk is MIA at the moment.
Yeah.
The Avengers are gone. And Spider-Man wants to take a vacation.
Yeah. Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, what?
And then he bitches about being Spider-Man.
The whole movie.
I don't like that. That's not good.
It's not good at all. It's not faithful to Spider-Man in any way, shape, or form. Because Peter Parker, I don't care what universe you're living in. Even when Spider-Man has the symbiote, when he's corrupted by the symbiote, he is still Spider-Man.
Yeah.
There is no moment where he's like, I'm going to take a vacation.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know the only time when Spider-Man has ever taken a vacation? When fucking Miles Morales was there and he felt comfortable with him leaving and was still calling in like every other day.
Let me provide one more last Hail Mary attempt to salvage this movie, and I think you'll agree with this point. The last scene of this movie is really, really good. When he gets his identity exposed, bro, he get caught in 4K. That shit is hard as hell. And the movie ends on a really good note. That you got to admit, that scene was cool as hell. And that informed 99% of the plot of No Way Home, which was, we can agree, is really good.
Mm-hmm. Also, I don't like the Far From Home suit.
No, it's the worst one.
The Homecoming was great. The black and red is I don't know why. Fucking garbage.
Yeah. Homecoming was a great suit. I like the light blue on Spider-Man. Quit putting Spider-Man in dark blue.
Why is he in black?
Quit putting him in dark blue black.
This movie puts him in red and black for no reason.
Put him in the fucking light blue.
Also the shield suit or the spider monkey, whatever the fuck suit. Come on. Like,
Spider-Man has so many cool fucking suits.
I've never used that suit in Spider-Man.
No, never.
I've never used this suit or that other suit ever.
Put it in mid.
No bueno.
Will you give me mid?
Nope. Sorry, I can't.
Yeah, the suit. No, you're right. The suit really does piss me off. Yeah, honestly, I would fight you hard to put it in mid, but the suit is like the one that leans it to me. Because I would put it in mid, but like I get what you're saying.
Like, come on, bro.
All right, we're gonna skip some of these TV shows.
Yeah,
so that ends.
There's a lot of TV shows here.
That ends phase 3.
Yes.
I mean, what are we thinking? 8.
I mean, it's got 2 of the best MCU films.
2 of the best, time. And it's got Black Panther. I mean, yeah, like phase 3 was packed, absolutely packed.
So I'd say this one's probably
8 or 9.
8 or 9.
Yeah, I'll give it 8 or 9.
8 or 9.